I'm not feeling any pressure at all right now, whatsoever, at all. This is a piece of paper. It's tough to tell just by looking at it quickly, but is this a standard, run-of-the-mill, kind of average piece of paper? Or is it possible that this piece of paper is special? Maybe this piece of paper is really passionate about food and one day wants to become a menu. Maybe this piece of paper is a real hopeless romantic and wants to be part of a lasting memory within two people's lives and really wants to be one day a wedding invitation. Maybe this piece of paper values freedom above all else and wants nothing more than to one day become a paper airplane. Now, it's tough to tell just by looking at it quickly because it's just a piece of paper. Paper airplanes are kind of awesome in the sense that we've all made one at some point in our life, and you can do it in a certain way where it's kind of like the single fold, put the triangles at the front, and then have that really sturdy base and the rectangular wings. But at the end of the day, they're all pretty much the same in principle. It's a piece of paper with a couple of folds, a little ingenuity, and then a lifespan of about 3 seconds, once it's been sent on its destination. Now, I would love to fill 18 minutes on paper airplanes, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to talk about something else that in reality is nothing more than a piece of paper. A piece of paper in a digital world, and that's resumes. Now, looking back at my journey, I'm one of these guys that has had a fairly non-traditional career path in the sense that I've been working in the talent acquisition world for a little over 10 years now, and for the last 3 years, I've been working in what's really a marketing role of an HR department of a software company. So it's only natural that I studied biomedical toxicology when I was in university. And when I graduated, I was in the exact same situation as so many other people in the sense that I was unemployed, but full of potential. My resume was brutal. I had education and 5 or 6 summers of smacking nails. That was it. It was really tough to cater my resume to a professional job when all I had was manual labor. But somehow, somewhere, someone saw something within me and took a chance. Now, for the next 7 or 8 years, I didn't even think about my resume again because personally, I enjoy updating my resume about as much as I enjoy going to the dentist. The only real difference, of course, is that I actually go to the dentist twice a year, and I'm pretty sure most of you probably share that sentiment in the sense that we don't really think about our resumes unless we feel as though we have to. Now, I realized I don't really know the history of resumes, and so I thought I better do some homework. And so I did some digging to see where they came about, when they were invented, and all that kind of stuff. And as it turns out, Leonardo da Vinci invented resumes. Leonardo da Vinci back in 1482. That's over 500 years ago. We live in a completely different world now. If Leo da Vinci was here today, his mind would be blown. We live in a world where we have access to an infinite amount of information at our fingertips. We live in a world from a relationship perspective where we've gone from, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, to swipe left. We live in a world where children are mastering iPads years before they even learn how to ride a bike. 500 years ago, children didn't have bikes. What is it with resumes that have given them stay power of 533 years? And when you think about it, the most obvious answer to that is, well, it's to start a conversation, really. It's to start a conversation between a person and a potential employer, I suppose. But when you look at that conversation and how both parties go about it, as individuals, we decide, okay, it's time. I'm going to look at my resume. And so we try to capture this two-dimensional sort of highlight reel of how and to whom we have sold our time, whether it be to organizations through work or through ourselves, through education. and then we package it in a format and with keywords that we hope a stranger will actually care about. Then we send it off. We hold our breath and we wait. That seems a little strange to me. If you look at a traditional resume, there's an awful lot of stuff missing. We don't typically talk about our passions. We don't typically talk about what motivates us. We certainly don't talk about our struggles. Now, I don't want to say that I missed winter, but I was fortunate enough to not be in Ottawa for winter. I spent the past couple months in Sydney, Australia. And when I was there, I went skydiving for the first time. I didn't really jump. I kind of fell out of the plane from 14,000 feet, and here I am. It was a life-changing experience. It was amazing. Should I put that on my resume? You're probably thinking, no, that's personal, that's not professional, but this may sound crazy because I'm so tall, but I'm terrified of heights. Absolutely terrified of heights. Doesn't doing that say something about my, not ability, but my willingness to face fears, to overcome obstacles? I'm going to take this one step further. I was divorced at 27. I had no confidence to speak of until I was 28, and into my 30s, I battled with periods of depression and alcoholism. I'm a better person today because of those experiences, but they'll never make it to my resume. Why not? It seems a little strange to me that we're supposed to package our entire life experience into 2 pages, but we're not supposed to give context in terms of how we became the people we are today. Now, if you look at it from the other side, the employer side, how do most employers start that conversation? And this is my favorite thing in the world, the job advertisement. Hey, we're looking for this. Here's a brief synopsis of what you'll actually be doing, but here's the 137 things that we want. In the event that you feel that, you fit these 137 things, feel free to send us a copy of your resume, but don't call. We'll call you. What's up with that? Companies talk about company culture and cultural fit, and we all know that we live in this world where relationships are becoming so much more important, yet the way that people and organizations come together, it's so transactional. It's crazy. And when you look at all these transactions, what is a company's culture anyway? To me, a company's culture is the end result of all of the relationships within the organization and their shared output towards some common belief or common vision or common goal, yet it's a transaction. It's no kidding there's this war for talent going on right now. But in reality, we're not in the middle of a war for talent. We're in the middle of a period of time where it's now inconvenient to us that we now have to show people that we are what we say we are. We need to show people that we believe what we say we believe in order to stand out. We're not in the middle of a war for talent. We're in the middle of a period of time where it's inconvenient that we have to proactively build relationships with people in order to stand out. We are not in a war for talent whatsoever. We're in a period of time where we need to accept that it's inconvenient that people are not lining the shelves available to be picked up and taken home like cartons of milk. To me, this whole concept of a war for talent really relies on the idea that people are commodities. But people are not commodities. People are not pieces of paper. People are people. And it seems like somewhere between Da Vinci and Zuckerberg, we've forgotten that. So what's the solution? How can organizations do a better job of really embracing the human side of human resources? How can individuals do a better job of saying, hey, I exist? And to me, knowing that culture and relationships are so important, What if we just shared our vision, shared our goals, shared our belief systems? Because when a personal belief system and a group or an organization's belief system becomes aligned, that's where the magic happens. And if you're curious if that actually matters, if that alignment of personal and group, if that matters, let me tell you a true story. On August 28th, 1963, over 250,000 people, showed up at the Lincoln Memorial. And they showed up there to see and hear and be part of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. Now, we all know of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He had a dream. To me, he was the ultimate inspirational leader in the sense that he believed in a world that did not yet exist. It was a world of racial equality. And he didn't just believe that, he changed the world. He impacted millions of people by doing nothing but sharing that belief with genuine passion and raw emotion into a microphone. If you think that we're in the middle of a war for talent, think about what Martin Luther King would have thought. He believed, above all else, that people are not commodities. If you think that we're in a war for talent, I'm going to ask you a quick question. 3, actually. What was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s marketing budget? What was his social media distribution strategy? How many Facebook friends did Martin Luther King Jr. have? We're not in the middle of a war for talent, remotely. Resumes are nothing but pieces of paper with millions of tiny little dots spread across the page in precise succession. They speak to nothing but our past, and they shed no light on our future. A resume did not invent the wheel, and a resume will not cure cancer. To me, there is something fundamentally wrong with trying to capture an entire life experience into 2 pieces of paper, and there is certainly something fundamentally wrong with treating people as commodities. Resumes are bad for business. They're not bad for business because of their content, but they're bad for business because of the transactional behaviors that they elicit in people and in organizations. Resumes and paper airplanes have a lot in common. The average airplane has a lifespan of 3 seconds. The average recruiter spends less than 3 seconds on every resume they lay their eyes on. This is a piece of paper. Thank you.